Hello, and welcome back to another Pen Talk. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for following my journey. Today we're going to take a little side road, one that I've taken before, but sometimes something just catches my eye, gets my interest, and I make a impulsive purchase. This is one of those. This is the Retro 51 Under the Radar, a rollerball pen. I reviewed a few other Retro 51s, the bee one, the dog one, that I found to be very nice, artistic pens, solidly made, very durable, and have interesting stories. And this pen just reached out to me. I do have a Nighthawk fountain pen, and we'll look at that a little bit later, but let's take the cellophane off this. I wanted to show you how it is received without taking it apart. It is made in Taiwan. I didn't really know that before. Let's look at the pen. So with the cellophane off, the label on this tube certainly takes on a new dimension. So the Tornado is their stealth version of their rollerball. This is redacted, I'm assuming classified documentation, and it is a very artistically designed airplane. So I grew up with Gary Powers' story, and this was the answer to getting shot down flying over Russia. A plane that flies much faster, much higher, and is much stealthier, so therefore cannot be detected and not shot down, which is a good thing. The pilots were certainly happy with that. The tube just comes off, and we see the pen in a very nice protective plastic condom. You know, they all package their pens very well, and I think that's one of the attributes of a Retro 51 pen. So the first response that you get with these pens is it feels substantial, it feels durable, it just has a nice tactile sensation. And it is stealthy, but also informative and decorative. It's 540 out of 951, so they've gotten into doing a unique numbering system, and they've stuck little details everywhere. Turn to extract. As you can tell, I don't use my Retro 51s. They are with another user who appreciates them, especially the B1. Let's take a little bit closer look at some of that writing. You know, Under the Radar is quite distinctive in red. And they do it on both sides. So there's some relief to the decoration, which is very nice. And they're supposedly extremely durable, which is, I certainly would agree with that. My primary purpose is to show you what this pen looks like. They seem to have sold out almost instantaneously. I happen to have bought this from a local distributor who had one. So as soon as he said he had one, I said, I'm buying it. It cost me $50, which I'm assuming is the price of this pen, you know, if you're going to pay shipping or whatever, or tax that you have to pay. So for those of you that might not have the opportunity to acquire one of these, this is what they look like. And I do have to use a rollerball occasionally, and if I'm going to have to use a rollerball, I'm going to use this one. The clip works very well, very stiff, very, very stiff, military style. But with that little curve and everything else, it's going to fit under fabric fairly well. So all in all, I like the pen. It does have a great tactile feel, which I said earlier, and after this review, I still say that. And like I said, that decoration should hold up well over time. Let's take a look at some other stealth pens. So here are 3 stealth pens. Unfortunately, you're probably not going to be able to buy any of them. This is the Stipula Passeporto in stealth, which I forgot to show when I did my review of the Monteverde Nighthawk. And here is that retro 1951 under the radar. I still agree that the Monteverde is definitely the coolest stealth pen with that carbon fiber in it and everything else. And the Passeporto Stealth is also very stealthy. And the one thing to keep in mind is this pen was a little bit controversial when it came out. Not necessarily the stealth version, but the other version in clear. The threads were a little wonky. They didn't feel it was worth the money, but I've had this pen inked up since I bought it, which was a number of years ago. It can set for many, many months. I uncap it and it writes immediately. It writes consistently all the time. There are very few pens, and I can't remember another one that is as reliable and dependable as the Passeporto Stealth. I have the Paparazzi in a number of different versions, which is the upgrade to the Passeporto. I don't carry them around anymore. This pen I used to carry around. I used to have a need for pocket pens, but I don't anymore. So they sit at my desk and become pocket desk pens. I use the Nighthawk regularly. It's a great pen to use with letters. I wanted to uncap and post the pens. Obviously, the Retro doesn't have that function. But the Passeporto Stealth, I think, has a stealthier nib. A smaller nib is more stealthier than a larger nib. The Monteverde Nighthawk is a little bit of a glossy black nib, where this is a little bit more matte, and the pen is also a little bit more matte. Not much, but a little. But how can you say no to carbon fiber? I'd be remiss if I didn't discuss value and what my view of is Retro 1951's marketing approach. So you can buy basically this pen for anywhere from a little bit around $25 for a basic model without any decoration or uniqueness or limited edition, up to this version. Some examples of the pen from Pen Chalet, Jet Pens, Gold Spot, all the major U.S. pen sellers handle Retro 51. So you have to admire what they did. Here's a little description of the history of the company. So they found a niche. Well-made metal rollerball pens, and it does write very well, and we'll show you how it writes. And then they started doing I'll call it the Lamy Safari treatment. Different colors, different shapes, different designs, limited series. I was in retail marketing for a while, and that's one way of continuing a revenue stream from a product line without actually having a new product. I think you may have seen the new and improved as you walk the supermarket aisles for detergents or shampoo or cereal or whatever. Is it new or improved? Hard to tell. They may have tweaked the formula a little bit. They may have put a different package around it. But it's to generate sales. It's to encourage the customers to reconsider your brand or to buy more of your brand. And that's where collectability comes in an item like this. When I saw it selling out, it increased my need to have it. And because of my interest in the plane, in the history, in what it meant in the Cold War and all of those things, that also wanted me to have it. Here's a P-51 version of the pen, which I think is equally aesthetically appealing, has a great history behind it. Another plane that I admired, but it wasn't in my lifetime that plane was effective, where this plane was used in my lifetime very effectively. And so it's all about need and generating desire and generating, as I was in sales for a while, how do you separate your customer from their money and have them give their money to you? I felt that if you provided the customer with value, something that he got more return on than the money that they had, and money doesn't really do anything. You can't eat it. You can put it in a mattress, but it probably will get moldy or with inflation lose value. So you spend it on stuff. You change money, this virtual self-imposed importance document, into something that you value, treasure, you can hold in your hand, you can eat, you can drink, you can smoke. So that's my Economics 101 on Chris's Pen Talk. So we're going to see the retro rollerball in action. It's a Smith rollerball or Parker refill, however you want to describe it. So it's a simple twist to uncap, extending the end of the writing instrument, so one now may use it to deposit ink on paper. We're not going to listen to it write, because I don't think there's any value in that. So it lays down a really consistent line. How wet is it? It dries almost instantaneously, which is what you would like in your rollerball. You're not going to get any line variation out of this. It writes in any direction, the same. So if I was to rate this, it gets a 9.5. It gets 3 checks: look, uniqueness, ease of write. So I'm being a little satirical, a little obtuse, but hey, I can be at times. So that's it. We've reached the end of the video. Thank you for watching. Thank you for following me along on my journey, and occasionally I do side trips. But I primarily focus on writing instruments with some minor deviations here and there. Writing instruments and their accessories. So enjoy your pens. Enjoy your life. Enjoy putting ink on paper, regardless of how you do that. But it's fun to do. And that's what I think we all have in common, is we enjoy putting ink on paper. With that in mind, stay safe, stay healthy, and more importantly, stay happy. This is the end. Until the next video, bye.